Hello, students. So, today I'm here to discuss the title Nature's Fury in All Its Glory. The title itself is very contradictory. One side there is the word fury, and the other side the word glory is written. We all have seen the beautiful side of nature, the fascinating one, beautiful hilltops, snow covered mountains, and the deep blue sky and ocean. Now, the furious sides are also to be met with. So, let us begin and see what are the furious sides of nature. The first one I talk about is lightning. We have all seen the ill effects of lightning. Then there are tornado, tsunami, volcano, flood, earthquake, and drought. We all know that how devastating these sites are, and whenever they occur, obviously they undertake so many lives and engulf people in their clutches. Now, we are also going to discuss some weather phenomena which has different names in different part of the continents. The first one is hurricane. In the Northeast Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, this weather phenomena, the large waves, are called hurricane. In Northwest, it's called typhoon, and in South Pacific Ocean and Indian Ocean, it is known as cyclone. I have also shared a picture of globe with all seven continents, and here it is just it's you people keep it in your mind. Remember this, that the journey that this man is going to take, about which we are going to begin very soon, Mr. Gordon Cook, he undertakes a journey, a voyage actually. It starts from England and it ends at southern tip of South Africa, that is Cape Town. Now, before we start the chapter, we are not afraid to die if we all can die together. We need to know the background of the voyages. So it started very early, around in the late 18th century 8th century, sorry. It started in the late 8th century when the Vikings, they went into the sea. Now, who were Vikings? These Vikings were the people from Norway, Denmark, Finland, and Sweden. You heard it right, Norway, Denmark, Finland, and Sweden. These people, those who undertook a voyage, were called Vikings. And the time was, it was around late 8th century and lasted for around 300 years. So we can call them, they were the first people who went into sea to explore the treasure hidden. Now, this is a picture given which will tell you more about the appearance, the outlook of these Viking, how they used to dress themselves up. Now, next is, to undertake a voyage, they needed a ship, and this was the Viking ship. Also, when we talk about sea explorer, we cannot neglect the part of pirates. The part these pirates played is really important in the history. Throughout history, we have seen many people, they were willing to rob others transported goods on the water. So, like on land, we have these robbers and thieves. They steal people's belonging. Exactly in that same way, the people who use or who rob others' goods in the ocean, in the sea, were called or is called pirates, sorry. Thousands of pirates were very active from 1650 to 1720. Now, these years are sometimes known as a golden age of piracy. Now, piracy is also important because due to these pirates, many new things came to be known. Some of the famous pirates from this period, this golden age, include Blackbeard, Henry Morgan, William Captain Kidd, Calco, Jack Rackham, and Bartholomew Roberts. Now, in some of part of the world, especially the South China Sea, just listen to me very carefully, students. In the South China Seas, piracy still exists today. If you go there, and today you have a chance to meet a pirate, because piracy is still existing there. Now, we are also going to discuss some famous explorer. The first name is Ferdinand Magellan. This man is a Portuguese sailor and he wanted to try to reach Southeast Asia, where many spices grew. By sailing westward across the Atlantic Ocean, he hoped to find a passage throughout South America so that he could sail all the way from Atlantic to the Pacific. So if somebody asks you who was the first one to go around the world, now it was Ferdinand Magellan. Now the another one name is quite familiar among us, that is Christopher Columbus. We all know him, we all have heard his name. He was born in the Italian seaport of Genoa in 1451. In the 15th and 16th century, these Europeans, they wanted to find sea route to the east. Now Columbus, what he wanted to find a new route to the far east, to India, China, Japan, and the Spice Island. So he thought he would be able to reach these islands if he takes this by sailing west, if he goes to west instead of east around the coast of Africa, as other explorers at the time were doing. So he would still reach the east, and he thought that by taking that route, obviously I'm going to still reach the east, because the word he knew that it is round, the earth is round. So now he started sailing from Palos in Spain with three ships. He did not know about the existence of America at that time, and now after landing, he found out that this was a new word of America in 1492. Now explorers, they came after him in the 16th century and brought the news to Europe that the Pacific Ocean lay beyond the western coast of America. Now let's talk about Henry Hudson, the another explorer. He was an English sea explorer and navigator in the early 17th century, and Hudson's final expedition ranged farther north in search of the northwest passage to the Pacific coast of Asia, leading to his discovery to the Hudson Strait and Hudson Bay, which are quite popular. The other name is Captain James Cook. This name becomes very important for us because the chapter which we are going to read in our next video is basically dependent upon the journey made by James Cook, because our narrator, Mr. Gordon Cook, is going to follow the path steps of Captain Cook. Now, what about this James Cook? He was a British explorer, navigator, and cartographer. Cartographer means a map maker who ultimately rose to the rank of captain in the Royal Navy. Now, he took 3 voyages. Yes, let us discuss his voyages. That his last voyage was to find the Northwest Passage, believed to link the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. I have shared a picture with you, student. Here in this picture, you will see the routes of Captain James Cook's voyage. The first voyage is shown in red, the second is in green, and the third voyage in blue. It was his third voyage, and the route of Cook's crew following his death is shown as a dashed blue line. Now, let's read about some instrument and other things used by these explorers when they went to their voyage. We all know a compass is very much necessary. It's kind of mandatory. Apart from compass, they used a clock and a scale. Then there are various kinds of ships we talk about. First is yacht. The picture is given. You can see the other one is a boat. Now we see a canoe, a ship, a steamer. So these are various kinds of we can say carriages used by these explorers. Now while reading the chapter, you will come to know the various parts of a ship. So I have given you a picture, and it is a labeled picture. It will tell you all the names of the part. the three most important parts are mainmast, foremast, and mizzenmast, and then they are further divided into parts and the names are given. So it's important, students, for you to go through all these parts, to just label these parts in your notebook, make a rough picture and label these names so that you can at least remember the name. Now, this is also a in-depth picture of the parts of a ship, which is really necessary for you to study if you want to understand the chapter better. Also, there are types of notes used by these sailors. So you can also take just a rope or a small rope at your home and try these notes. So there are some notes I'm taking names of. One is this granny knot, the other one is square knot, and there is this fisherman's bend. After this, now students, we are going to discuss the characters of the story. We are not afraid to die if we all can die together. So the first one is the narrator. The chapter is written by Mr. Cook and Ellen East. Now the narrator here is Mr. Cook himself, and he had his family together on his voyage. His wife is Mary, his son Jonathan, and Sujan. Along with these people were two men. They were the crewman. One was American, Larry Wiesel, and the other was a Swiss man, and his name was Herb Sizzler. These two crewmen were there on the journey with this family. Now let's see something about these people, all those they were there. The first one is our narrator, Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook is a man of great courage, commitment, and conviction. He proved to be the best captain because the weather was really atrocious. It was getting worse day by day, but still he did not lose his hope. He kept himself motivated, he was determined, and finally, because of his courage and commitment, he finally came out victorious. Now the other character, the major character, is Mary, his wife, who always stood by her husband's side in all times of difficulty, and she considered her husband's dream as her own. Now there is these two small kids, Suzanne and Jonathan. Suzanne was their daughter. She was very brave, and her bravery toughened her father's resolution to fight the sea's strong storm tooth and nail. Now another character is Jonathan, the small boy. He was also very courageous and fearless in the face of the death. Their characteristics comes out, their character is highlighted. Now he is the one who rejuvenated the hope of his father by remarking, "Dear father, we are not afraid to die if we all can be together." Now these words, these such deep words from the mouth of a small kid, proved to be quite motivating and encouraging, that this man, he finally came out hale and hearty. Now after this, we are going to discuss about the other details of this chapter, which is that how the story started and how it ended. On July 1976, on July 1976, these people, they started their world voyage. They tried to duplicate the round of the world voyage made 200 years earlier. Students, it's just some typographical error. It is 200 years earlier by James Cook. James Cook, he has undertaken a journey which we have already discussed around in the year 1768, around 200 years ago. Now they wanted to imitate this journey, duplicate this round. So once he had decided that he want to undertake the same voyage, he convinced his family, he convinced his wife, and they went on to their journey. The first leg of the journey was quite pleasant. They pleasantly sailed down from the west coast of Africa to Cape Town, and then from there they further sailed to southern Indian Ocean. So it started in the year 1976, in the July, in the month of July. Now, after they have sailed pleasantly, after some time, there was this impending disaster. What was this? That they faced and encountered strong winds on second day of Cape Town. When they reached Cape Town, and from they started from Cape Town, there was this strong wind which got encountered by them, and it lasted for almost few weeks. The waves were so high, the length of the wave, it was around 15-meter long, as high as the mast of the ship. So you can see that suppose the wave crosses or wave goes up the mast, obviously the ship is going to be drowned. Now, what happened after the disaster gets ended? Around 6 p.m., a tremendous explosion shook the deck and powerful flow of water broke over the ship. Because of this explosion, the water entered into the ship. The ship's name was Wave Walker. In the next chapter, we'll discuss in detail how was the ship, the particular specification about the ship. But for now, you just remember that it's named Wave Walker. It was about to get sunk, and the captain was badly injured. Now, captain, he almost lost his courage, and his wife came and she told that the water has entered into the cabin, and at last he decided that he'll go inside and meet his kids. And there, after getting a conversation, after having a conversation with the kids, he was so inspired, so encouraged, and so motivated that he came out, and with double of his efforts he finally found out the land. So in this story you will see that the encouragement, that the unparalleled strength of these crewmen, how it changed the captain's mindset, and he finally came out victorious. These crewmen we have already discussed, these Larry Wiesel and Mr. Sigler, they saw that the water started entering into the ship. So they started pumping out water and settled to make necessary repairs to save the boat from sinking. And also they used some canvas to cover the gaping holes. So this all was the repairments done by these people. All this was all their altogether effort. Some other problems also arose, which were the electric pump got out of function, the water level rose threateningly high, and the daughter of this couple, Suzanne, she got badly injured. There was a big bump on her head. But still, even after suffering from that severe injury, she inspired and she motivated her father to go and continue the struggle, so that at least they can they do not die with the regret that they didn't give their 100%. Now only hope for the captain was to reach the island, okay, which there was no instrument working, nothing was working, and he just estimated using his experience that they could reach one island, that is the Amsterdam island, which is around 100 kilometers to the east. But because he was so much injured that he fell asleep, and when he woke up, he found that his family was standing next to him, and they all were shouting, and they all were telling him that he is the best captain, because finally they found the land. Then dear Jonathan said, Daddy, we are not afraid to die if we all can be together. It was Jonathan's courage and Shu's bravery. Instead of her bumped head, she didn't complain. She told her father to fight the sea and protect the family. So the story becomes an inspiration for us. There are some crucial days which are discussed, that January 4 and 5, because after continuous pumping of for 36 hours when there was only few centimeter of water left in the ship. They hoisted the storm jib headed in the direction of Tool Island, and there were black clouds around 4 p.m., and the sea was getting its wave higher. So these were very crucial days. For these 2 3 days were really crucial because the storm lasted for a few weeks, but these 2 weeks it was at its worst. Finally they reached to this Amsterdam island, and they were safe there at last. They rode their wave walker out of storm, and the wind got eased. So this was all about the story, students. In the next video we are going to discuss the chapter in detail, but here in this video you need to take care of the famous explorer. You need to learn their names. You need to understand how James Cook started, and why this man, Mr. Gordon Cook, he tried to imitate him. What was his mission behind? So that's enough for this video, students. We'll meet very soon.